Welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. It is a special day. It is New Year's Eve. I really appreciate you spending your time with me here. It is December 31st, 2024, and we are about to welcome in 2025. Now, markets are open today, half a day. They close at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So we've got some trading going on this morning. Markets are closed tomorrow. We'll go over that a bit in the calendar. However, this is not my look ahead for the year, just for the markets today, although we do have quite a bit to cover. Now, in a separate edition, I'll be talking a little bit about what I expect to cover in that, and hopefully it will be of great interest. So, with this, let's start into what's going on with the markets this morning. So, favored risk indicator, the MMRI, sitting at 303.9 at the moment. Still extreme territory, but it has pulled back slight bit since yesterday. This is mainly on the 10-year yield, pulling back a little bit. Now, to jump over to the 10-year yield and relative strength of the dollar, which are the main components of the risk factor, is that the dollar still maintaining relative strength over the other currencies. And we've got the 10-year yield that has pulled back a bit. So there is a lot of buying in the debt market going on. And what does that mean? It means kind of a dumping of dollars, but also the Fed in stepping in, buying this and getting that rate back down. Now, with this, the fear greed meter still showing fear territory, but not the extremes to where we want to jump into this and purchase right now. Now, we've still got thin volumes today. The markets are, as I said, closed tomorrow. So you kind of have to do some setups today. Very early on will be thin, volatile trading again, if you can get your orders filled. So with this weak market, however, it is looking like it may turn a bit positive a little later. So we've got kind of trying to start a little bit neutral. I think that toward the end, it is going to be a neutral bias on the day as a whole, since it's being a half day going into a holiday. It is the last trading day of 2024. So if you have to set up your accounts, please keep that in mind. I think all of the trading will be done and very thin and volatile through Friday. No institutions really being in here in a large manner. So we've got Monday closed. And we've got something else that was very interesting that was brought up. I think it was a brilliant question about options. How does this affect the options expiry with the markets being closed? They will continue to atrophy because it doesn't matter whether the market is open or not. As it approaches its date, options still head towards that atrophy. So you have to figure that in. And if they close on that date, they're still going to close. You just won't be able to take action on them. If you have automated actions, those are what will take place with the market makers. So, kind of at the mercy. I urge little caution with those, little extra caution. Now, with this looking into the futures, looks like it's struggling to get a little stronger here. We've got crude is up slightly. Gold is staying just above the level, kind of holding on to where it's staying neutral as well. I think this is kind of watching towards whether we have risk on or risk off. Markets have not chosen a direction yet going into the new year. So with this, we've got silver showing a bit weak. It's below 30. Could drop a bit more, but it's getting into some good buying levels again. Now, with this, we've also got cryptocurrencies looking at Bitcoin. It has not, in my opinion, gone to a bearish pattern quite yet. It did hold that 92,000 level that we've been speaking about very well and is showing a bit of strength today. So, going into the new year, we could go into that breakdown, but at the moment, it's still kind of floating the other currencies, if you will. Now, with this, I'd like to go over the calendar because today we're only getting Case-Shiller Home Price Index prior to market open. Then we're closed on Wednesday for the holiday. Thursday, we're expecting jobless claims, which I've said before, our new metrics that we're looking at for the Fed rate cuts are going to be employment numbers and anything that affects that. Now, construction spending as well and manufacturing on Friday. Now, this is going to be a large number and very affecting, but I don't expect it to affect the markets very much unless it's really a far off number. Now, I've got something else we'd like to bring up. It's very sad that the former President Carter has passed away. However, they have chosen to close the markets for the 9th of January. So this is going into the markets with closures. And I think this is very strategically placed closure, if you will. Now, can they do this? Yes, completely. However, the timing of this is a little questionable. And I found this morning early on that I am not the only one questioning this. It seems Bill Ackman, who is a very large hedge fund manager, investor, also is also questioning this and saying that this is shutting down commerce. Now, in the very old days, they would have what they would call bank holidays. I think that's kind of run out of fashion and also would kind of alert people to something else going on. So, with this, we've got market closure on the 9th. So, this is just after the closure that we're having tomorrow. So, next week will also be a 4-week trading day. Now, with this, we also had the US Treasury accusing China of hacking some of its workstations. I think this is something we're going to be seeing more of next year. So I will be covering a bit of this in my forward as well. But with this, they're saying they got hold of some uh, information. They're still assessing the depth of this hack, is what they're calling it. It is also very suspect in the timing. However, many of these are going on just ongoing hacking issues. So, with this, some other things that I expect to be covering as we go forward, I'm going to dive in depth a little bit more. The Bitcoin boom, they're talking about BlackRock's IBIT is their ETF for Bitcoin. It has become the fastest growing ETF of all time. This, in my opinion, is another way that they can manipulate Bitcoin, since they're having very difficult time by the design of it, doing it directly through the asset itself. So we've got going along with this, Prox Finance eyeing BlackRock's BUIDL token as a next generation reserve asset. So if more institutions, they can hoodwink them into putting all of their money into the funding for this token. This is not Bitcoin. However, they are kind of draining off reserves that would otherwise be going into the asset itself. So we've got Hong Kong and more nations now proposing adding Bitcoin to the national reserves. I think we're going to see more of this going forward. Now, with all of this, the Treasury hacking, Janet Yellen is saying that the Treasury is going to hit a limit come mid January. But with this, we've got the current administration announcing as much as possible another 2.5 billion military aid for Ukraine. Zelensky, according to Musk, is the all-time money heist champ because he has, however you want to put it, extracted multiple billions from Western nations to go to funneled into Ukraine. Now, there's a lot more going on behind this. If you're new to this, we can explore that a little bit more in depth. Now, going forward, I expect much more war spending. We'll talk about that. We've got Japan and the United States communicating on a possible use of nuclear weapons. Now, stories are beginning to float out that Russia had designs on attacking in these areas. I think that this is, again, part of the propaganda that we can expect more of as well. More inflation, more propaganda. We've got the Navy information warfare officers can now take command at sea. This, in my opinion, is very important. Now, diving into what information warfare officers do, and now that they can take command, these literally are your propaganda officers, and this is their sole purpose of their job. I'm really glazing over the top of these things. Why are they important with finance? And this is because they can drive all of the headline stories for what affects these currencies in moving forward. So I've got a little bit more I'd like to cover here. Uh, FDIC, Depositors Insurance, and Vanguard, one of the largest backing funds, again, reaching an agreement over large stakes in United States banks. These are all the deals going on behind closed doors. So I will be speaking a lot more about banks, the regulation that we can expect going forward, the hand in hand with the government that are entities that are going on, including the FDIC as well as others in the regulatory side. Now, with this, we've got on the consumer side being crushed. We've got more credit card defaults, higher debts, and more issues going on with the actual consumer and the actual economy, crushing the middle class moving forward. So I'll be speaking about banks. Again, here we've got a bridge. The Opus CEO, the power of artificial intelligence in redefining payments and the industry outlook for 2024. Now, this is the industry of not just artificial intelligence, but tying in with payments and the banking industry. These are behemoths. This is huge going forward. So, I'll speak about that a little bit more. Now, to slide into artificial intelligence itself. Wants more data, more chips, more real estate, more power, more water, more everything. High intensive use resource. Companies will be pouring into artificial intelligence. We'll be speaking about artificial intelligence, and going forward, it's going to be a large part of 2025 and going forward. There are some developments with this that are outright frightening, and I think that it will be massive going forward. So, with this, we've got trade wars, tariff wars happening on several levels, currency wars, all falling into kind of a similar pattern here and putting them all together in another group, because all of these are the currency flows and the flows of capital globally, how we export as a nation, the inflation, and how other countries are controlled. This is a war of its own. Now, we've got the dollar share of global currency reserves at a 29-year low in accordance with the International Monetary Fund Mafia Fund, IMF. Now, they're another controlling factor. We'll be speaking about them as well, attempting to control what this is moving forward with the currency flows as well as personal spending and moving forward. So, with this, I would like to propose New Year's toast to those that I love, not what I have, and wish you all a happy 2025. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Wish you blessings on New Year's Eve, and I will be back and see you back after the holidays on Thursday. So, cheers and blessings to you all until I see you again. Stay free.